Alright, alright, alright. That is close enough. Bam. As far as I can tell, everything is on. Everything is working. The camera has not shut off. It sees my hand. None of my light bulbs have burned out. As far as I can tell, there's a little bit of music in the background, maybe? Which is new, and might get just this entire stream, like, struck with a copyright, but who knows? I slapped this together within the last, like, 30 minutes. It feels good. My hobby space is completely devoid of models that need to be painted. And we are gonna get ready for a whole different phase, but I have yet to clear off any of this. And as a result, I'm going to have to do some organization and figure out what's going on here. Alright, first things first. Anyone in chat? The sin I harbor germinates within me, doesn't it? Within all of us. We can never be truly free of sin until we expunge it in holy fire via the Emperor or otherwise. So I am going to take a second to just kind of go over my hobby space here, take all of these little dumb paints, cram them back into the drawer where they belong, and let us get into a position where we can set ourselves up for success. Because we have a rather daunting task ahead of the rest of this. And I do believe I'm going to need another bottle of Vallejo Steel by the time we are done here. Oh boy. That is... God, I don't even remember where I got it. I ordered it online somewhere. And I'm hoping and praying that I even have enough magic sculpt to get through this. I've only ever worked on one original Questoris Knight chassis. And from what I can recall, that guy took a lot of experimentation. You know what? Let me get him. He can be a little poster boy. He's over here on the shelf. This little goober. Bam. This is the only Questoris Knight that I've ever worked on. Shout out to the old Chainbreaker Lance box set back when G-Dubs. I don't believe they'd done a Knight value set in a very long time, if ever, and everyone was kind of losing their minds over it. I'm happy with how he turned out. The basing was honestly easier than I thought it would be. But if y'all are looking at the other little camera view there, we have, in fact, 3 additional knights. Hello Goose, hello Craig. Let's grab this guy. So, we have, God. You know what? Let me move the guy over here. So you can be a little guardian, little guardian of the boxes until we're ready to crack into those. So we have 3 knights, 2 Questoris, and 1 Dominus chassis to build and to paint. This necessitated the creation of a custom knight household because I am not one for the lore of the knights. I have never really found any of the canon households appealing or intriguing. Originally, it was going to be some kind of Forge World to work hand in hand with my Mechanicus. However, I just could not come up with a name or a scheme that made me happy. If it was gonna tie in with my Mechanicus, it would be white armor, and I'm kind of sick of white armor. I wanted to do a color scheme I had not yet painted. So we have, at least for the time being, we have decided on the House of Scorch with like a black and orange, almost like Halloween color scheme. I have no idea if it's gonna stay like that. It's calling back, but it is calling back to my Titanfall loving days. And honestly, I don't even have to. It's not even a question that has to be answered for several months while these things get worked on. So it's honestly not going to be that big of a deal. But regardless of whatever, regardless of what I decide to name these, or regardless of what house I decide to come up with them, the fact remains that we still have 3 Imperial Knights, one of them being a Dominus, to build, base, and paint. 2 of these guys were bought discounted and or bought just discounted off store shelves. This bundle of sprues right here was bought off out of one of Pandemonium Games and Hobbies, their flea market that they host every scattering of months or so. I'm a little face in here. Come on! There we go. Oh, I guess it's for Sir Hector, who will not be getting used, unfortunately. Oh, well. But regardless, yeah, guy was unloading a lot, and I mean a lot, of used Warhammer stuff. Among which was this whole, like, fully stocked. Yep, see, even comes with the Preceptor sprue. Some more Yellow Knights. See, here's the thing. Here's the thing, effing is. If I have to paint another model yellow, I might lose my mind. I have so many Lamenters, so many Yellow Marines, that I think, like, I don't know. I might just be tapped out in terms of yellow. I've done so much yellow. And, like, that's not to say, like, I don't love painting yellow, but I really need to get a different color armied amongst the things that I own. You'd lament, yeah, indeed I would. But does it have the Defender sprue? So this one does not. However, if we look to where Pegasus is chilling, I have bought a Knight Questoris, the new Defender box. I know I wanted at least one Defender. And of course, these guys will all get magnetized, so they can be whatever Knight loadout I decide. I am not a fan of buying a giant, expensive model that is locked into a single loadout, which means I have to magnetize. But whatever, we're used to it at this point, and that's the thrill of Knights. You get to have multiple models. Like this guy, like, you know, his arm comes off, his gun comes off. His gun splits into 3 pieces. Actually, I was on some incredible drug when I magnetized these. I don't know how I did it. And maybe we'll do it again. Regardless, so thankfully these came with the instruction book. that I will need to be consulting. However, I kind of just tore this bundle of sprues open without even really thinking about it. Which one of these do I even want to do first? Because this one makes sense. It's the most, like, less put together. Tearing open the second box would feel like a treat at the end of it all. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to be doing. So how many? Yeah, 6 different loadouts for the Questoris chassis. That is a good time. Yeah, normally Pegasus over there tends to rock as a Crusader, just because I like shooting lots of guns. But he also runs as an errant at times because it's frankly cheaper. I don't know why a Crusader is just like more expensive than everything else, considering the quality of the bullets is not quite there. But it's not going to be something we're complaining about. This guy's got to move. If any of you are Gundam fans, you will perhaps recognize this little guy. Painted him for a buddy. So, I'll have to get that to him at some point. But let's just get organized here. I've not built a miniature in such a long time, it feels like, especially at night. Great Lakes Hobby, yeah, I know. Great Lakes Hobby has so much stuff, but I am there's 3 nights. I have a lot of work to do that we're going to be working on here. Okay, so I'm going to just set the sprue off to the side and just start going through the rulebook here. So the way that I've graded myself on like how far I can proceed, because you really do want to get what the hell is it? When you're making like big units like knights, sometimes I think I made the mistake of the first original build to not leaving the armor panels off. So if I'm going with the color scheme that I kind of like the idea of, which is like black steel and then going with like orange and silver armor panels, I think we're gonna have to leave all the armor panels off for the most part and prime them white and just kind of build the under chassis. Now, I do not remember how exactly... That cup is still full of water. I'm sure that won't be an issue at all. I will just tuck it over in the corner where it cannot hurt me. There we go. So, this is so exciting! This is the old 8th edition assembly book, I think. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful depictions. Can't recall any of these. Does he say what houses these are? Can't quite remember. Oh my god. The old stat blocks in German. Where's his English? Canis Rex. There we go. Sir Hector, separate model. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Alright, let's cut to the chase. 6 loadouts, 1 chassis, 3 knights, 6 chassis each. That's a lot of work, but this is my New Year's resolution, so we are not going to be expected to finish this all in a month or 2. But I wanted to get a hobby stream together because it's been a while. We just finished editing that battle report that went up on the channel recently, so that was a fun time to finally set loose into the world. By the way, I don't know if you guys can hear like the music in the background. Just let me know if it's too loud or too quiet. I definitely just don't want it to be distracting. But it was really a rush job. Oh my god, the nightmare after I came home today to set up the computer. My laptop actually blue screened and gave me like a BIOS failure on startup. So I was scrambling, had no idea what I wanted, what was going to be able to do, but thankfully I was able to fix it and restart everything. Okay, yeah, this is looking real familiar. So this starts off as Canis Rex, and it leads us through the chassis assembly all the way up to the cockpit. We'll build the cockpit. I'll probably leave Sir Hector out of it because I frankly just don't care. But we will follow the letter up until this point because then the shell goes on. Shell's one big piece. Yeah, where is it? Yeah, this guy. Big chunky plate. Pretty solid volume. Love to hear it. Okay. let us get rolling here. And then, yeah, it takes us all the way up to the... Okay, then we get to the nightmare of weapon customization, because then where does this leave us? Follow steps 9 to 11 for all variants. Oh, I see. Yep. Sorry. Canis Rex gets his own little special assembly due to the cockpit. So actually, we will begin right here in terms of assembly, because the Canis Rex stuff gives you all of the little... Yeah, it leads off with the exclusive... Oops. Sprue wants to join the party way sooner than intended. Yeah, so the Canis Rex instructions here in the front specifically walk you through the wolf banners, the cockpit itself, and then all of the specializations. The only difference is the weapons, but the las impulsor can just be a simple magnetization job. I had I had the las impulsor from the first night, from this guy that I created, but I ended up just not using it and then using it for a kit bash piece. It looks pretty silly, but you know, we were working on other things at the time. All right, so we will just be skipping past that entire section of... Can I get this any higher? Can we get much higher? There we go. So, follow steps 9 through 11 for all variants. That gets us all the way through the legs, all the little cables, and up until the chassis itself. Carapace weapons. Yep, gets us up to the little shield launchers. So, we're going to be walking through these instructions, and in fact, it might even be easier for me to crack open the other Questoris box and build these concurrently. But that's a little too ambitious. We're not going to do that. Alright, let's stop messing around, and let's start getting into this. We will start with the legs. Has anyone here in chat built a knight before? Because it has been a very long time since I've done anything of the sort. But I'm very much looking forward to it. Here is ye old leg sprue. God, these feet are so massive. Giant hexes on the legs. Massive arm. God, this is thick plastic. This is like old 8th edition plastic. You can see some of the details are quite a bit softer than on miniatures you see these days. It doesn't help that the parts are absolutely enormous. So any and all little flaws would kind of stand out like a sore thumb. But while I clip these and start to get going here, why don't we have a little bit of a discussion about what has been going on in Warhammer lately, more specifically, the upcoming reveals for 11th edition, as I struggle to find where these pieces are. There we go. Because in fact, what caused me to want to go and sit down and even work on these, even crack these guys open to begin with, was the fact that we finally got some hints as to the Knight rules that'll be going on in the next edition. And specifically, one I'm very excited about was the Old Questor Forge Pact, which, well, not to hide too much, not to hide my excitement or anything, but the Questor Forge Pact, as it currently stands, from what we got in the Grotmas, was very much it was a really cool idea, but it was really, really lackluster in terms of like actual functional rules. Like being able to take several things as Skitarii. I need a fresh razor blade. That is dull as a apple. Come on. Where are we going? There we go. Nice sharp blade. Always get a nice sharp knife when you're working on your new projects. You don't want that knife to be slipping in your hand. Boom. Alrighty. But anyway, as I was saying, so we don't want, being able to take Skitarii and the and like their fellow tech priests with them is a fun idea and very, very flavorful, especially for like a custom AdMech force like mine. But oh my lord, some of the all of the like the sauce that got injected into that detachment was immediately lost after the creation of the army rule, because believe me, when I tell you that there is a single usable stratagem in that entire detachment. It is very rough. And it's a really good stratagem. It's something along the lines of, like, ignore all modifiers to, like, ballistic and melee and such. But there is almost nothing, like, power-wise that is worth, like, buffing or spending a lot of time on. And I'm glad to see that there's maybe a little bit of extra sauce. And certainly being able to flex that detachment in with a different one would be very, very nice. Because I love allying my little Skitarii with their big brother knights. I think I will have a lot of fun doing that. But in order to do so, I'm going to have to get these knights done. And I am not a quick hobbyist, but all things garner momentum as they keep rolling. So hopefully by the end of the week or such, I'll be able to get on a good pace with these. The thing about a giant miniature pieces like this is you can really see the tags and the flaws. Alright, we are going to... we're going to crack open as many of these as we can in terms of getting the like pieces off of the sprue. You don't want to leave too many large tags as well, because they will leave those little gouges that are an absolute pain in the behind to deal with, leaving those little pits that end up just creating crevices and cracks for the primer and paint to get into. It's not a great time. Fortunately, a few good coats of paint can cover them up, but at that point, you may as well be saving yourself the trouble. Shut that. There we go. But yeah, the battle report that we just finished and put on the channel was a long time coming. We filmed that thing back, God, months and months and months ago. It's actually even strange to watch now, considering that Gatekeeper Games, where we filmed it, actually just closed this weekend. The owner decided that he no longer wanted to run the store. He had about 10 years running it, and just decided, yep, I'm good. So I had to make sure to stop in and grab my terrain that I just left lying around. But yeah, that is maybe the first and last battle report that we will have been able to be filmed there, which is a shame because I loved the play space. Lots of tables, low to the ground, able to see everything real nice. It was a pleasure to film. Yeah, it was definitely Pariah Nexus, Craig. I got Isaiah and Drew together just to be like, hey, this is going to be experimental. I just want to, we have one camera. I just want to see what we can film. And I've been poking around on YouTube trying to figure out kind of that level of battle report where it's like maybe 2 to 3 guys at most, and you have a table that looks decent, 2 decent armies, and a camera. And what can you put together with that? Overall, I'm pretty happy with what we did. It was only a 1,000 point game, so honestly, the burden of editing it was probably way lighter than it will be in the future if we once I decide I want to tackle a Strike Force game. But I like how it turned out. I was able to learn a lot in terms of how important it is, during the game, taking notes. If you go to any of the big BatRep channels like PlayOn, Tabletop Tactics, etc., they almost always have one person off screen whose sole job is to take notes of what is happening in the game, who scores what happened this turn. Because yeah, that's important. I had during the course of filming that, at the end of every battle round, we would at the end of every turn, we would take a break to allow my camera to stop overheating. It looked good. Oh, thank you, Craig. I appreciate that. So we stopped in between every single turn. Drew went first, Death Guard. At the end of his turn 1, we stopped because my camera was overheating for one. So I just needed to give it time to chill out and cool off. And secondly, for me to just go on my phone and write down notes as to what happened. Like, who scored what points, how much CP did the players end with this turn, who used a stratagem, what stratagem was it, and then going through all of that and translating it into graphics, because as a viewer, you want to be able to see what's happening and keeping track of like what's going on in the game without having to do the math yourself, because you're not going to watch a video where you have to do all of that work. But I think we did a pretty decent job, and I definitely feel more confident going into whichever one we decide to do next. That is a thick leg. 2 beautiful thick legs. Let us glue these together. Do I have an open glue? Yes, I do. Shout out to the original super glue, just keeping me fed and keeping me moving. But yeah, I liked finishing the video. Finishing the video felt amazing. When I'm only like one battle round in and I'm struggling like house responsibilities and a bunch of other stuff with it, it wasn't as fun at the time. But that is part of the whole gig, and I feel very, very happy with the end product. So yeah, I can say that it was a very positive experience, at least for me. So yes, for any of you who watched it, if you haven't watched it, I gotta recommend you watch it, because it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to make, and if you like it, we'll do more of them. But yeah, it's gonna be a good time, and I'm going to have a lot of fun doing it. Now that most of my hobby, well, I say now that my hobby backlog is finished for the most part. Look what the pit of vipers I'm jumping into right now, but I feel more confident in trying to get at least one piece of content up on the channel every week or so. Whether it's a podcast episode, whether it's something or another. I gotta start looking around at like other smaller like Warhammer / hobby channels to kind of see what's going on, how you fill the time. Because a lot of these types of videos take a while to make, because you got to coordinate multiple people. Content like this is like pretty... content like streams is pretty easy, but I do feel like the entertainment value on things is limited when you compare it to a more curated, edited video experience. I mean, hell, I certainly enjoy watching videos more than I like watching the live streams. Because I'm just never really available all the time when it comes to something going live. I figured tonight, Monday, would be nice to have a little hobby stream to check in, figure everyone's tired from work. It was hot today, but it was really, really nice. It was raining earlier. I believe it may have stopped, but we are inside. We got a fan going, and we're just trying to lock in and do what we can to get a jump start in this. There's actually not that much to do in terms of the chassis. So if I can get this guy built up to the point where it's just the armor plates left, then I might crack open the Questoris box and then just have at it and just do the exact same thing. Because as a momentum-based hobbyist, the more I do of a single action, the quicker I am to get it done. Okay, these parts are... Okay, it's this guy, it's this guy. These are slightly different. So I do need to be keeping track of that. Now we got tiny pieces. Tiny, 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 itty-bitty leg pieces. 59 and 60. Oh, joy. Going down the sprue. Going down the sprue. There it is. Now, when it comes to tiny pieces like these, you can cut real close to the clipper, or to the end of the sprue tag, and then you don't even need to bother... Well, oh, that went flying, but thankfully it landed back on the instructions. Excellent. So this... Oh, yes, these are the godforsaken little... Hang on. How does this even connect? Oh, yeah. These are the godforsaken little feet that hold the armor plates, that hold them forward. Paint the chassis with plates on or off. For this color scheme specifically, I think I have to do it off, because I want the base metal to be black, but the plates are going to be orange, which means I'm fairly certain I need to have a white base coat on them in order to also make the silver trim pop. So I believe that's what we're going to do, which will hasten assembly time quite a bit. Let me make sure I'm doing this right, because I only get to glue this once. This nice and neat. Tuck that in there. Alright, brilliant. But yeah, I do not own an orange paint that I feel like is quality in terms of coverage. I've only messed around with one of the like deep orange GW paints. I believe it's Troll Slayer. In fact, a test miniature might be in order. I'll break out one of the BattleTech miniatures that I have lying around in order to see how well that coverage goes. I did the same thing. Here, let me pull them out. I did the same thing when I was getting back to my yellow scheme. I have a bunch of free little BattleTech minis lying around that I use to do test schemes with, and sometimes I end up with really cool BattleTech minis. So if I ever want to get Ian to teach me, I can bring a few of these up. This guy was the test scheme for my Tau Pathfinder team, but I really like the Tron look that it finished up as. So we got a few more BattleTech minis lying around. I can probably make that work. All right, more of the little things. So yeah, that's the plan for the armor plates, and hopefully that speeds up the process quite a bit. I've never painted orange before, so we are going to be doing a big heckin' learn in terms of how that goes. I am intrigued, I'm enticed, I'm excited, and I'm just hoping that everything goes well. Because a knight is a very expensive miniature to screw up a paint job on. I'm 1 for 1 in terms of a knight's paint scheme coming out the way I want it to, so here is hoping that we keep up that beautiful little track record. Okay, glue that in there. Right. Pop that. It's the little parts like, yeah, it's a little, like, tiny parts like this that make me really impress me when it comes to, like, GW's miniature design. Like, who thinks of this? You design all these, like, tiny little parts in CAD, and you just, it just does not make sense until the very end. All right, 56 and 51. These big, yeah, these things. 56. So these are going to have to get detagged. Another reason I can tell that these are like old 8th edition plastic is you can tell in the softness. A lot of these sprues are not quite like as snappy or as are like not as rigid as some of the newer plastics are. I'm sure they are. My knife keeps rolling away. Come back. I need you. Don't leave me. Is orange just like yellow, start with pink or brown? I have no idea. I genuinely do not know. I've never done orange before. My gut is telling me that if I just find the proper shade of orange and then just paint it over white, I should be okay. But that's just what my gut's telling me. I could easily be wrong. Hence the BattleTech miniature that I will likely throw to the paint gods as a sacrificial pawn in my insatiable quest for knowledge. But yeah, that's my thought at least. And I do not own, again, absolutely maidenless, airbrushless behavior on my part, not having an airbrush. But at this point, I'm just so deeply ingrained in brush paint and doing everything by hand that I don't think I can change. I don't think I'd be comfortable changing. Not that I'd be above paying somebody to just airbrush them for me, but if I can find a nice easy way to just hand paint the orange over white and it looks good, because as long as it's like a bright like solid orange, I'm gonna be happy with it. I'm not going after like a crazy fade or a crazy like orange gradient, anything like that. I just want like a nice solid like bold orange color that I can put like decals and like paint symbols and things on. Just a nice big bold orange. Calling back to my favorite Titan in Titanfall, which was Mr. Scorch with his big orange and black chassis and his big fire shield. And Fire Dragon starting as white. See, that's what I figured. I figure orange over white is a pretty solid solid way to go. So that's what we're gonna try on a test mini first before we commit to any sort of paint. But we got to get through the build process first, and this is gonna take a while. Although building takes less time than paint. So we have got this little piece right here, the little square in the back. How the heck does this go? Okay, it sits like that. What? Oh, I see. Oh, like... yeah, it's the slant. Because the Knights Questores, they stand in one way. Oh, wait, hang on. Is that meant to be... Oopsies. Oh, I have the completely wrong... Nope, I got these mixed up. This is supposed to be on the bottom. That's supposed to be on the top. There we go. It probably doesn't matter in the long run of things, but I do want to make sure I don't put any of the left-right pieces on the wrong side, because then that is a nightmare. And then you got to deal with it. And I don't want to deal with it. Straight up. Okay, starting to overthink something. And when that happens, we glue and we move on. 1, 2, 3. Slap this on. Bada boom. Leave that to sit. Yep, just like that. Yep, 1 foot forward. It'll be his left foot forward, which I believe is the same for all the Questores Knights. Which is all good. I don't need a huge amount of dynamic posing when it comes to the legs of a knight. It's all in the arms. It's all in the heraldry. It'll be a good time. All right, and we have got some little spikes to put on here. We got 57 and 58. These guys right here. Click, click, click. And then click, click, click. Little short guy right here. Excellent. All right, yeah, that's the plan for the orange. But hopefully I won't have to think about that for quite a little bit of time. I could use a bit of time to not think about paint too much. Regardless, let us have a little bit of a detour away from hobbying for the minute, and let's talk about the game. Because we are maybe a little over a month away from getting our greasy gamer hands on a brand new edition of Warhammer 40,000. And I would love to have a podcast episode to talk about all the new stuff, but while we have just so much like half information and just incomplete data, it feels kind of pointless to make any sort of like long-term content like based on what we have that would be speculatory. We're gonna keep getting more rules. We're gonna keep getting like more like core things hinted at as they continue to release like little faction videos. So I figure we'll wait to do anything on the main channel, but if we're all here hanging out, hobbying together on this little lazy Monday night, I would love to talk about a few of the reveals that we've been getting. And one that I want to start off with is the heavy rule changing so that you still benefit from heavy if you move no more than 3 inches. Because heavy, in a game where if you don't move, you lose the game, has never been that nice with it. And I'm hoping that this new permutation results in a far more entertaining and perhaps like big brain play mindset where you can sit behind a wall, sneak out a little bit, and unleash your +1 ballistic skill fury upon your enemies. All right, oh god, what is this? What am I doing? What the heck is this? Oh, hang on. Nope, wrong one. Oh, there we go. There we go. I had the wrong side. That's on me. Just like that. Beautiful, beautiful. Wish they would have redone the legs in this course. You could pose them like Cerastus. That would have been nice. That would have been very nice. Nope, they seem intent on keeping the Cerastus, not the Cerastus, the Questoris, to be a singular pose. I would be more heartbroken about it. I wish I could convince myself to bite the bullet and get myself a Cerastus Knight, but the fears of them exiting a codex like immediately after I purchase it is something I haven't quite been able to shake. This edition, well, hopefully I'll actually have like a proper knight army. Before I only really had one Questoris Knight, so once I've had my fill of the normal ones, I'll likely get one anyway, just to, because they're sick and they're cool. But I've not been doing that just yet. Yeah, Lost Dominus Knights hide. Yeah, hide turn 1, then move into a terrain feature. Yeah. So Shane, so my buddy Shane and I, we actually did a test. It was the week that they had revealed the new 2 of the new terrain layouts. It given us like the big top down with like where all the little terrain pieces go. And we played a game of Admech versus Custodes. Me with my Admech, him with his Adeptus Custodes. And we remarked that there were very few like turn 1 sight lines that you could possibly get like some big anti-tank shots down on the first turn. Like he had 3 like laser tanks and I had 2. And turn 1 we were just staging. We were just moving forward, trying to he was like pushing his like custodian guard up as far as they could to make use of the hidden rule. And it was tricky. It was tough. I was definitely not able to like get any of his stuff turn 1 because the way that the buildings intersected, it was very hard to draw lines of sight through it. So no, I'm excited to play more melee army in the new edition for sure. I think it'll be fun not getting obliterated turn 1 because of some crazy advancing Eldari tank. Though that might just happen anyway. But, nobody's perfect. Why should I be? But yeah, it was an interesting game to like make it work as best as we understood with the rules that we had at the time. Yeah, again, another reason why I'm just kind of content to wait until we get a lot of the actual information in our hands. But it's fun to speculate and discuss what we know so far. Hang on. I am a stickler for mold lines, but I'm going to keep it a buck. These are all going to be hidden, and no one's going to see them but me. Maybe not even me. So I'm going to be pretty judicious about leaving these. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry if I leave a few mold lines here and there. God will forgive me. Very excited for CSM. We had some spicy rules coming up for the Chaos Space Marines. A faction that has tempted me over and over and over again, but I've been able to resist simply because Alpha Legion has not been given any like cool, fun, specific units. If they had, I'd likely be knee deep in the warp sauce already. Yeah, Alpha Legion was my first love when it came to Chaos Space Marines. The first thing that I found really interesting. Though not a ton of lore surrounding them, because that's kind of the whole point. No fun, like, specific characters. In fact, one of the first miniatures I ever looked up to purchase was actually Cypher, because I saw he could be taken in, like, an Alpha Legion force. And, like, and I looked him up, and I was like, oh, he's, like, a sneaky guy with a sword and guns. But that never really manifested, so... Chaos Space Marines were left off of my table for the time being. But yeah, no, we've been getting lots and lots of news. Excuse my rambling and my shortness of breath. It has been a very long day, but we are making it work. Jian, nice to have you in here. But yeah, no, we've been getting lots and lots of cool rules. Today, the Knights spurred my glorious intent and determination to finally get these bad boys rolling. I am frankly excited for. I need to see my AdMech rules. Depending, oh god, which one is this? 52? 52, that one. 55 for this guy. Because I mentioned it when I did the podcast episode with Mitch. Although now I know it's likely not going to be the case based on what they have done. So for all of the reveals that they've done so far, they have listed 3 detachments, and they're all either new, quote-unquote, detachments, or it's a Grotmis detachment, like a detachment that was not in the Codex. I could be wrong. I might just be lying right now. I don't quite remember. I can really quickly scroll into the... See, let's just check out the... Yeah, hang on. Let's just look at the Space Marine. Let's just look at the Space Marine thing. Oh, God. Oh, God. Nope, can't find it. But regardless, the way, judging by the way that they have done these reveals so far, none of the detachments that they have shown off for any army has been a detachment that is currently in the Codex. It's either been a brand, quote unquote, new one that's like a very focused, like intended to be one detachment point style of rule. But they've also shown that they are converting bonus detachments. For example, like today we got the Quester Forge Pack kind of re-kitted, which was originally a Grotmis gift. Yeah, all newer Grotmin. I'm 90% certain that that's the case. What this unfortunately means is that the Rad Bombardment Cohort, the Rad Cohort, is not going to be a reworked detachment. It is likely going to be a 2DP thing. Now, that's not to say they won't change it. They could probably adjust it. But I told Mitch in that podcast, if it is a greater than a 1 detachment point in its current permutation, I'm going to be there's going to be some sort of crash out as to why that detachment is so booty and yet so like flavorful lore wise. I would be very, very upset. But we will never know until we get it in our hands, which is the bottom line every day, every morning, as we await for more news. All right, these feet are cleaned up. Yeah, and all 1 detachment point. They were very clear to say that like all of these can be determined to be only worth 1. So feel free to think up a storm and combo to your heart's content. Is that fitting correctly? Yeah, that's... Yeah, these feet are entirely symmetrical, so it does not matter. Yeah, it does not matter how it goes. So, a little bit of glue on you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, frankly, I'm not obsessing over being able to pose these guys in some super dynamic way. I just want more big, stompy robots. I'm a very, very, very simple gamer to please. I need big, stompy mechs. All the codexes need to be 2DT. I will... Here's the thing. There are certain detachments, Gladius, that are very powerful, Gladius, that account for basically every facet of the game that comes down to winning games. Gladius is the most, I think, notorious of all of them, simply because it's for Marines and it does everything. And considering that it has been copied in multiple detachments, like one of Huron's new detachments, I think Gladius needs to be 3. I think it's so much of a catch-all. It comes with the full suite of enhancements, full suite of strats, like covers every facet of the game, that being able to combo that with something else would result in a combo that's just way better than everything else. So I'm hoping it's 3 detachment points on launch. But the upside, if it isn't, then we can be confident that they'll be able to adjust it at some point if it's just winning everything right off the bat. These are not the same. Interesting. These feet have a little bit of a raised chunk on them so that it's higher. So, would the chassis sit at a weird angle? Oh, that's so weird. Why would you do that? Interesting. Trying some Dread Claws. Oh my god, a man after my own heart. I am such a fan of the Dread Claw drop pod. I think those are hilarious machines. And I think it is a darn shame that they are not in the CSM Codex. I think you could make a killing selling those. But it's still a Forge World kit, so who knows, maybe someday. They've been working on getting all the old Forge World units shipped on out / converted to plastic, so maybe. I'd love to be able to work on some of those, or be able to play against some of those. Alright, so we have the feet done. Little leggy boys. So we'll set those off to the side. And now we have the hips. The hips of the knights. 81 and 82. Is this the same sprue? Thank Christmas. Do not make me go searching for another one just yet. Otherwise, I will go insane. Yeah, these are... God. After so many just, like, hobby loads back-to-back of working on Space Marines, AdMech, Space Marines, these are enormous. These are the size of entire miniatures. In terms of the parts I'm working with. Holy Lord, this is pleasant. I missed working on knights. Oh my goodness. Some definitely need to be 3DP. Space Marines won't play anything else. Hey, as a Blood Angels player, I have used Gladius exactly twice, and it was at the very start of the edition. Because we didn't have our Blood Angels ones yet, and I played. I remember I played mostly AdMech at the start of 10th, because I had been playing Space Marines for most of 9th up until that point. So I'm hoping I can get at least 1 or 2 more games of 10th in before kind of everybody's attitude shuts down and everyone just wants the new edition. So I'm hoping I can get maybe 2 or 3 more games in. Got a few last week. Those were all lovely, lovely times. I was finally able to try the first company task force in a 1,000 point game. It went very, very poorly. Turns out going super hyper character focused elite at 1,000 points means you lose the game because you do not have any chunk units to be able to do actions, and your units are too small to deal a significant amount of damage. So yeah, it didn't go great, but it was a fun. I'm glad I got the chance to play it at least once with a semi-proper list. Obviously, it wasn't optimized, but who be out here playing optimized Warhammer at Guild of Blades on a Thursday night? Honestly, who could be bothered? All right, so we cut this off. There are very few mold lines, and when I say very few, I in fact mean 0 on these pieces. So let's go. Let's glue this bad boy up. Just like so. Just like Mama used to make. And the aligner pins on these are very small for such a big piece of plastic. And I thankfully, oh god, wait a minute. Okay, I have two more bottles of glue available after I inevitably run out of this one. So we definitely have enough for the whole thing of parade of nights that we're going to be doing. All right, well that's it. We got 67 and 66. The little kind of radiator plate devices. Click that, 6, 7, making no additional jokes for that because we don't do that here. Let's crack these guys open. Oh yeah, these are just these are vanity plates. Vanity plates for the working night. Oh god, hang on. That's a very oh my goodness, it's a very tough piece. There we go. There we go indeed. But no, yeah, lots lots of fun stuff to be looking forward to. And they just announced today that some of our goats over at Play on Tabletop will be hosting some of the live games on next Monday. They declined to say where they would be streaming it in the entire article. I know because I read the whole thing twice to try and figure out. I'm assuming they just mean it's going to be on their Twitch channel, but they did not say in the article. So, I wasn't sure if it's is this on Warhammer Plus or something, but I think it's safe to say that's going to be on Twitch, which I'll be at work probably. Unless they're choosing to cater to us Western Americans. All right, bing, bing, bong, boom. Let's get this guy opened up. Yep, so click on right there. Yeah, these cool little, these cute little vanity plates, little turbines. Oh, that's neat. Oh, I need more glue on this. Another dot there, and we should be good. Same thing for this one. And there we go. Squeeze. And don't let go until it is done. And then we have a little sub-assembly that will hold itself while I work. We got the ball. We got the ball joint. That is kind of the only bit of posability you have access to on the Questoris. A little knob that the entire chassis revolves upon. 83. This guy. Click, 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 click. So yeah, I'm gonna be trying to work on these guys whenever I get a clean opportunity, in order to try and get this. Well, I have no illusions that I'm going to be able to finish one or more of these nights before the edition launches, but I'll have something enticing to work on during the year, and hopefully I'm motivated enough to actually commit a good deal of time to it. But we shall see. We shall find out. Dun, 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 dun. In terms of other media news, I'm trying to get a podcast episode together this week to kind of just talk about the new edition, kind of what we know, what we don't. Check in with another one of my podcast members. That should be a good time. Availability has been a little bit suspect, but I am always down to compromise my schedule to make it work. Because I like doing it, and I had a good time, and I have a good time filming. And at the end of the day, as long as you're having fun, that's the only thing that matters. Okay, that's done. Let's get this glued on. Yeah, that does not matter. Right around the ring. Yep, just like that. Click it and twist. Rock solid. So this thing is now going to glue on top of here like so. How does that attach? Oh, interesting. It's almost like it's almost like an offset ridge on the inside that the glue sits on. Oh, that was way too much glue. Don't be silly. Boom. There we go. All right, and holding that. Warning. Uh-oh. I'm assuming everything's okay because I've dropped 0.1% of frames. So I'm just gonna pretend that nothing's going wrong. And we're back to green. Beautiful. It's like nothing happened. Okay, that's done. Let's do this. Oh, I remember. Aha. Yep, and then these just click 1 and... Oops, nope. 1 and 2. Boom! Big stompy boy. Alright, let's get you... Oh, I'm so excited! Oh, God! I missed working on nights. I don't miss working nights. But... oh, my goodness. Oh, I'm so happy right now. I bought these guys knowing that it was probably going to be a while before I got to work on them. But holy Christmas, the day is finally here. Alright, leave that, let that sit. Beautiful. Do not move. Okay, that is that. That is the feet all done. We have a... now we have a little bit of sub-piping. Like little detail... ow. Oh, my knee! Just smashed my table. Don't mind me. We have a little bit of sub-assembly stuff. The glorious microplastics everywhere now. So let's get these done. Is this the same sprue? Thank Christmas. All on the same bit. Honestly, that was such a massive pain in my behind when it came to working on the Death Company sprues from the Black Rage army box. A lot of the parts were just spread between the sprues in a really annoying way. Either due to them mixing the Intercessor sprues and the Death Company ones. But man, that kit was a little pain in the ass to build at times. Not a huge fan. Kind of compounded onto the fact that we got those old Death Company sculpts replaced with the Jump Intercessor but black. So little bit of sting in there, but we made it work. And I don't really have any plans to collect more Death Company in the future, and so half of them are firstborn, half of them are brand new. I can live with that. I don't think it's that big of a deal. The Sanguinary Guard's a different story. I don't know if I'll ever be adding those guys to my collection. I certainly won't be adding any Space Marines to my collection for a goodly while. Although, at the start of the edition, when those Space Marine sprues from the launch box start showing up in the discount racks for like 20 or 30 bucks, I might have to take a trip down to Garden City and see what I can afford to splurge on. But hoping and praying that that's not the case, at least for now. All right, 69 and 71. 71 right here. Boom. 71 right here. Boom. Tonight is much more enjoyable than last night with the Pistons getting eliminated. Won't be commenting on that at all. I mean, honestly, my friends are miserable enough for me. I don't really have the brain cells to be pissed off about sports. So we're not gonna be. We're gonna have a great time clipping and scraping off these sprues. Boom, boom, boom. But yeah, very excited. I think I'm gonna try to do a hobby stream at least once a week, just so people can kind of stop in, tell me what you're working on. Oh, speaking of which, what are you guys working on? If y'all can hear me, I would love to know what you got sitting on your hobby desk. If anything, to perhaps make my plight appear all the more magnanimous, so that I may suffer through it resolutely, like a hero of the Imperium ought to. But I would be very, very stoked to hear what y'all are working on, because I love talking hobby stuff. Anything to engage with the audience. Have a good time here on this quiet Monday night. Plus, my throat's getting pretty dry. I'm going to have to take a break and get some water soon. But we will push through, and we will hold strong. Yeah, God. Originally, my AdMech were going to be orange, because I fell in love with the little tidbits of lore of Forge World Ryza. But they took away all the cool melee rules that Ryza had when 10th rolled around, so it never came to be. Okay, are we good? We're good. Glue this up. 1, 2, 3. God, these pieces are so small. They look like little las cannons, but they're very much not. They're like little servo actuators. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna be excited to. Up until like I've never even been able to play a full 2,000 point game of Knights, simply because I haven't owned them. I've been able to get up near 1,000, but with these reinforcements, we'll be very much in the money. Being able to make that work. There we go. Look at that. Big feet. Boom. Ready to stomp forward and blast them. Hit him with the big gun. Alright, what do we got? So this thing connects... Oh god, how does this thing work? Does it go like that? It goes like that. Oh, that's so weird. Why are you like that? What? Oh, nope, it's a different one. There we go. Okay, that's where it goes. That makes a lot more sense. The square, yeah, the square, the square peg goes in the round hole, naturally. So click and click. Boom. Just like that. And then the second one. Bada boom. Yeah, these little... Oh god, these little horrible little details. But it's so irritating because without them, the kit just does not look right. There's just a bunch of blank space under the main chassis. And it just doesn't look nearly as good as it should. Hold that into place. There we go. Nice. Oops. There we go. Yeah, otherwise it's like super naked in between the legs and the... Well, I guess these are the Knight's thighs. That's weird to think about. All right. So that is done good. 2 more cables, 79 and 80. Good old 79 right here. Click. Click. And 80 on the opposite side. Click. Click. All right. Nope, don't put your finger in the glue. You'll regret it forever. Clean this up. I will not be cleaning up the mold line on the cable because nobody will notice. But we will be clearing up the contact point because nothing ruins the glue, the gluing process more than a sprue tag where the glue's meant to go. Fortunately, I only made that mistake once, but holy lord, was it a pain. All right, so 79 is going to be going here. So it plugs in here on the butt and then out to the leg. Oh, these little cables. Oh, that's right. These little things. Little wiggly boys. Well, thankfully they have really nice little contact sockets to get glued into, so that's nice and convenient. If I wasn't feeling up to the task of propping these in by hand, I'd grab my tweezers, but they seem to be cooperating just fine. Hold 1, 2, 3. There we go. And the second one. Yeah, we're actually coming to the end of the work I can do on these legs, because I think the next part is it's wanting us to get the armor plates on, which we will not be doing for the time being because we have a paint scheme to uphold. Oops. Nope. Come on now. Glue in. There we go. We got it. You gotta find that rigid, you gotta find that point where you can, hold it in for like those 2 to 3 seconds. God, that's why I love the original super glue. That stuff dries real quick. And it's strong as hell. That's amazing. All right. Brilliant stuff. Yeah, so it wants us to get the banner and the armor plates now. All of which are still located on the sprue here. So, shins, thighs, kneecaps, and then the banner and the little whatever the hell it is, the thing that covers the waist. So if we go to the next page, I'm curious. Yeah, we just go straight into the next chassis. So I'm actually going to put this sprue to the side, and we are going to continue and start to work on the upper body. Because if we go look at this, we see that we don't actually get to any armor plates that are going to need to be like spray painted orange, or not spray painted, but you understand what I mean. Until we have the one that covers the head right here, and then we have the actual main carapace right here, the big chunky piece. As far as I'm aware, that's it for pieces that need to be withheld. So it's going to be 2 big pieces and that sprue that we just set off to the side. Everything else is then going to be weapons. So honestly, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get this big chunky mid-body built up, and then we're going to crack open the Questoris box. We'll probably stream till about 9 o'clock. So I got some time to get this done. Because if I can get the main bodies of this night done and start working the other, I will feel very good about the progress here. So let's get to it. Cracking. Okay, this sprue needs to go away because we will not be using that for quite some time. This guy, boom, big effing sprue, and we don't get into the shoulder blades, the giant round pauldrons, until well after weapon assembly. In fact, yeah, that's actually like one of the last things to go on. That's like at the very tail end of the instructions for the errant here, or preceptor rather. Fascinating. So yeah, another part that we just don't have to worry about for now, which is such a nice thing to have off the mind. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, let's crack this bad boy open. 106. Oh man, finding the numbers on these is not fun, and I'm starting to remember my least favorite part of the Titanic modeling process, which is finding all of the numbers on these crazy cluttered sprues. Won't have to worry about any Imperial Knights when it comes to our miniature Apocalypse game that's upcoming to shill, if I may shill just for a brief moment, to make absolutely no money and just inform you of a cool event that's coming up. For those of you in our area, we have a miniature Apocalypse game that I will be hosting at Guild of Blades on May 30th. 106, 107. Oh, these are different. I see. Okay. Oh, never mind. Nope, that's the ring. That's still the same piece. All right. Never mind. Not looking at that. Doing something else. But anyway, yeah. So we'll be having a little miniature Apocalypse game with 500-point forces, all crammed onto a tiny table with each other, with maybe some Titanic units looking over them and raining plasma death upon everything. So, if you haven't joined our Discord already, I assume you have. If you haven't, you should, because it's full of cool people posting cool stuff all the time. But be sure to check it out. It's going to be a really, really, really good time. Okay, I know for a fact that every single mold line on this piece of crap is going to be hidden, so I am not bothering with any of that. We'll cut off the tabs, and we're moving on. Or scrape off the tabs, rather. Gotta be nice. Because some of these are really old. That's another thing you can tell when it comes to the older 8th edition sprues in plastic. They had some really rough tags at times, and even had some cases snapping off the sprue entirely while they were still in the box, which I remember happened with I think it was an old Librarian or Furioso Dreadnought that I purchased way back when I had first gotten into the hobby in 9th edition. Yeah, some of those pieces were just like loose in the box because they had just simply broken off the sprue with nothing else to hold on to. All right, so that part's done. Excellent. And then we've got 109 and 108. What are these beautiful little struts? Where are these guys? 109 and 108. These guys right here. Again, little pieces that are gonna never realistically see the light of day, so we don't have to expend too much energy on these. Yeah, but that's kind of the update on where we are with the channel, where we are with content. I definitely want to make more of it, and at a quicker rate. Every time someone hits subscribe, my heart jumps, and I feel super happy about it. So I want to keep chasing that. Putting out more consistent content and seeing what comes of it. I think that'll be fun to go through. And definitely having to go watch some other, I guess, amateur level content to kind of see what I could be doing better, which has always been something I've had a problem with when it comes to improving myself in a skill or anything of that rate. I never end up I don't know. I always get really self-conscious about it, which is something I've tried to correct over the years as we've gone on. All right, the double is right here. Or how does this go? It goes cable up. Oh, I see. Okay. Excellent. Okay, so that glues into there. I love all of the inner details on these kits. These are beautiful to work with. Oops! Wrong one. Well, it's a good thing I know where this goes. Right next to it. Boom! Hooked in, locked in, no worries. And then we have this big little rib cage of 107. Oh my god, look at these. Look at these sprue holders. These are enormous. They're like friggin' skeleton arms. Holy crap. You can make a sprue ladder with one of those. Impressive. Clip 1, 2, scrape, 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 and we're good. Move it. Nope. Get back here, knife. I need you. You have work to do. So this goes hobby up and just clips right on to the section there. Excellent stuff. Yeah, I definitely want to film another bit. I've completely lost my train of conversation trying to juggle painting these and streaming. It's been a while since I've streamed, period. I'm gonna have to get my linguistic skills back. Which is an art in and of itself. I've harped on it multiple times throughout streaming. Maybe I'll make a point to mention it every time, but speaking to an audience is not easy, especially when it comes to multitasking and doing something in front of you. Unlike a video game, which I think is far easier. In order to focus up on and not have to divert your attention too much. All right, so that's that side wrapped up. We go to the other side and click this off. Yeah, these molded plastic pieces are super ugly on the inside. You can definitely tell where all the focus went. I might even need to be in the market for a new set of for a sharpened set of clippers, or at least sharpen these. Because these are thick. I'm having a hard time getting through them. I can't even remember where I got these hobby snips. I must have just picked them up somewhere. Without, I definitely didn't spend any money on them. Because why on earth would I do that? 103, 104. This guy's right here. Click, click. Again, interior pieces. We're not going to worry about it. But yeah, I could realistically pump out one night a week in terms of build. And if I can get these done, if I can get these all built at least before June, or like before the new edition drops, that would be beautiful. It would at least give me something to play with, something to work with as the new edition hits, and I can have some fun with new rules while I work at getting these painted up. That would be very, very enjoyable. Alright, let's take a look at this. Yep. Ugly cuts as we get close to the plastic here, but these are all going to be hidden, more or less. At least as far as I'm aware. Yeah, in fact, I can grab my dude right here. New edition, new army, 100%. Are these going to be visible? Oh, these are going to be... Oh, they're going to be visible, but they're not going to be visible. Okay, yeah. I'm seeing mold lines that I remembered to scrape on one side, but forgot to scrape on the other. So, yeah. We can get those. Without thinking too hard about it. So it's the back side here. Yeah, these are all going to get painted black anyway. Although, inevitably, when I paint something black, it means I'm going to dry brush it white, just for detail's sake. So, any of these sprue tags are definitely gonna come up ugly. So I got to make sure that those are gone. All right. Click 1. Click 2. And then get you out of here. Yeah, I would definitely like to film another battle report, but be one of the players in it. I feel like that would give me another good dose of perspective. What Anton Ego was going on about. Because perspective is important. If you don't have a greater grasp of things, then how will you know where you're going? Click, scrape. Yeah, God, these sprue tags came out hideous. Thankfully, we are just straight up getting rid of them. I'm being very, very cavalier with the removal of these because I know that none of these surfaces are going to see the light of day. Honestly, it's very freeing, knowing that I can get to the fun part of finishing a model and actually painting it. Honestly, just seeing the legs standing in front of me is already a massive, massive morale boost. Okay, let's get this settled in. Where do you go? You click, you go there. Dot, dot, like so. And then same for you. Dot, dot, boom. Wonderful stuff. I think we're all set. Let's get this scraped up. Yeah, this thing holds. Yeah, this thing has no flaws facing towards the backside, which is where anything would be seen. So we are all set. Yeah. It's a shame about this new box set, though. My buddy Nate doesn't play big 40k anymore. He's more focused on kill team and boarding actions, which is, you know, beautiful because those games kick ass. I'm a fan of both. But man, he played orcs. He plays orcs. I plays marines. Like, if this launch box had happened at the start of 10th, we would have been. We would have had such a good time with this box. Can't help but wonder what could have been. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And nestle you on there. Nice and tight. Excellent. All right. Now this little... Oh, this is the actual cockpit itself. Section 25, which is not on this sprue. We are moving to a different sprue. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on. 25, this guy. Big Chungus McGee right here. This is where the magic happens. Okay, we are gonna... Okay, so this sprue is tough. It does not want to cooperate. Oh, there we go. Come on! Get on! Yeah! There we go. 2537, which is on here somewhere. Right here. Little cable manifest. And then big ol' number 1, the giant rear of the knight itself. This is a piece I loved painting on my old knight. There we go. Boom. So yeah, this piece right here, big old reactor. In fact, I think these are both reactors. One of these is a radiator. Oh no, these are the radiators. Designed to all the exhaust out of the knight. Excellent stuff. Alright, let's do a little bit of maintenance here. Part 2 of sprue clipping. God, we just have these. Man, one of the parts of knights you kind of forget about is how effing huge the sprues that are holding these things in are. Ugh. You can hear that snap, right? A little bit of sprue clipping ASMR. Oh boy. And this guy right here. Yeah, used to be I would just clip these tags flat to the piece, but you always end up with so many horrendous like gouges and tags that are such a pain to get rid of. So it takes a little longer, but doing a double clip can save you a lot of headaches and anguish. And thankfully, although these sprue tags may be giant, there's not too many of them connecting to the sprue itself. Unfortunately, I believe that a lot of these are going to be visible from the outside. So going to need to take a little bit of time to smooth these out. There we go. Smooth that, scrape that nice and gently. Okay, and with this last piece done, I think we should be good to have the main upper body of the knight all put together. Well, at least the skeleton. Yeah, considering this is going to be all done in probably less than 2 hours. You know, barring the armor plates, but the armor plates go on real easy. It's not exactly a huge building issue. Finishing 3 knights might not take me as long as I thought. And I mean, in the podcast that Mitch and I had talked about it, we talked about our New Year's resolutions. He mentioned that he told me you can bang out a night in like 2 hours or a day. I didn't really believe him, but he may have been cooking. He may have been absolutely right. Of course, that means I'm gonna have to slow myself down just to prove him wrong. I can't have him holding that over my head. But who knows? Maybe we can come to a common agreement. that. Okay, that is good. Wait. Wait. Wait a minute. This goes... Oh, I can't tell which way this goes. This points towards the front. Oh, what the hell. I'll scrape these anyway. There's these little reactors on the front and back of this piece that have like a pretty solid mold line on them. I was debating whether or not it was going to be visible, but considering I don't know, I might as well just do it. It takes me 4 seconds. There we go. Nice and cleaned up. And now there's no bad feelings. No matter where that side of the mini ends up, it will be nice and clean, and I will be happy. Okay, speaking of happy. Oh, baby. That just glues on right there. Let's do it. Big chunk. Big chunk. And flop onto there. Let that sit, and then this piece... Oh, God, how do you go? Oh, God, how do you go? Wait a minute. Oh, it sits on top. Oh! Wait a minute. I see. Okay. I had the piece backwards. We didn't panic. We simply took our time. And that clicks down right there. Boom! Beautiful. Okay. So that sits there. Okay. And then I'm going to give that 2 seconds. And then we're going to go ahead and get these pieces onto there. So the right side of the knight is going to hook right in here. And click into... Is that how it goes? Oh, okay. Oh, now I'm seeing some additional... Hang on. I'm seeing some additional mold lines that may be visible. Okay, turns out it was just 2 that I missed. Excellent. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. All right, now for real this time. So we are gluing... Because this goes... I see. Okay, it's easier for me to put the glue on this than it is to put it on the inserting piece. Then on the side there. All right, push this in. Click. I got glue on the finger, but that's okay. I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're pretty all set. All right, the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 5 right here. All right. Boom. Oh. A little bit of glue on the fingernail. Never hurt nobody. There we go. Boom. That looks pretty good. What? A spherical knight? A ball knight? The exercise ball? The beetle ball? The Bakugan knight? I would love a knight that would be able to roll itself up like Bumblebee. That'd be pretty sick. It's kind of all Bumblebee is. He had his little ball attack. All right. That's that. That's the big chunking upper body. Bam. Big old skeleton. All right. What do we got left here? So, smokestacks. Smokestacks. 112 and 111. These guys right here. Okay, I am starting to run out of energy. So we are going to finish up this last panel of instructions with these smokestacks, and then we're probably going to call it for the evening, just so I can get some water and recoup before work tomorrow, because I've been cooking all night and really need an opportunity to go make some food for tomorrow, which is important because we all need food. Food's delicious and makes me happy. Alright. I didn't even look at the numbers for these. I'm just assuming that this is the reverse smokestack. It'd be asinine if it was anything different, and of course I am correct. Need more troop bits for the forge pack, like 80% of a tech thrall sprue. I would certainly be interested if you no longer want them. So maybe hit me up on the Discord later, and I can get you a solid answer, Athanase. I appreciate you saying that. That I'm always on the hunt for more AdMech bits. I'm a big fan. Big fan of AdMech bits. 27... Oh god, we're switching sprues again! Oh no. 27 and 26. Where is that? Oh, right in the center. Thank goodness. Oh, God. $26 goes there. 27 goes on the opposite side. And then just flops down. Alright, that's all the pieces there. Alright, bet. Love to hear it. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Let's get to scraping. Final push here. Yeah. Whenever I hit a hard stop, when I'm in hobby or / painting mode, I always tell myself to get one last step done. And no matter how you may be feeling about how much you want to stop, midway through that step, you gotta finish it. You gotta finish whatever the current step you're on. Because reminding yourself of where you left off midway through a step when you sit down to hobby next time is gonna be miserable, because A, you have to do all the math and get yourself caught up, and B, you have to remember that you quit and you gave up halfway through when you said you were gonna push through. I've done that many a time, and I always feel kind of pathetic afterwards. So we're gonna push through this final build step, and we're gonna feel good. We're gonna go get some water, make some tea, maybe get some ice cream, and we're gonna have a beautiful evening, just relaxing, getting ready for the rest of the week, and feeling proud with how much night we were able to build here. Because if we're talking, chat, if we're talking percentages of how much night there is to build out of just 3 nights, getting 80% of one night done in one night, to not mind the pun, is honestly pretty spectacular, and kind of resets my expectations for how long this project might actually take me, for which I'm very happy. I definitely don't want to be working on these things for months and months and months on end. So I am pulling nothing but good feelings away from tonight. And I am stoked that some of you came by to spend some time with me. I'm always appreciative of people stopping by the stream and watching the videos. Yeah, just one more turn, 100%. When I do gunplay, I work from the legs up no matter what the book says. Craig, you're absolutely right. The magnetization is going to take a lot of time. I'm trying not to think about it right now. I'm really trying not to think about how long the magnetization is going to take. Although, I'm definitely going to have, not, quite as high standards for myself as the last time I magnetized anything. Because, and additionally, last time I magnetized, I did not have the power of Magic Sculpt, which shout out to Magic Sculpt, by the way. Not sponsored, literally at all, but this is like the greatest epoxy clay I've ever used in my life. You can mold this shit into like a skeleton, and as long as you have enough like hardener resin in there, you can make anything. I've made like crazy AdMech conversions, like tentacles and cables and stuff. With that, and in addition to some green stuff that I have, I'm fairly certain it's gonna be fine. But I'm trying not to think about it right now. The magnetization of the weapons is definitely on the bottom of my list, and you're absolutely right. It is gonna be probably the hardest part of the build. But I mean, hey, everything up until that point's gonna be a breeze, judging by tonight. So we're ending the night on a very, very high note, and that is invaluable. Go to bed happy, go to bed satisfied, and looking forward to tomorrow instead of dreading it. Which I think is just important for everything, not just for hobby stuff. When I do gunplay, I work from the legs up no matter what the book says so I can watch it stand up. That is a fun way of doing it. I have a little bit of Gunpla. I haven't done too much of it. My buddy is insane when it comes to Gunpla. He's got like shelves and shelves of it. But yeah, no, getting a feeling of progress while you're working on stuff. Honestly, that's why I loved having the legs done first, just so I can have something sitting on my desk that's nice and stout. No, it's important. You gotta reward yourself. Because this is a lot of brain power. It's a lot of dexterity. I've already stabbed myself once tonight. We put a lot of work into these things, and we should feel good doing them. Okay, I think that's all the scraping done. Last week with Storis I have done, I just broke down and bought the Magnet Baron kits. Oh, I have been tempted, but I've already spent a lot of money on these things, and I have the Magic Sculpt on hand, so I'll probably just see if it works. If it proves to be too horrendous, then I will obviously abort. Oh, and speaking of resin, it's funny you say that. Nope, not the Sensu beans. Shout out to Iron Wolf Minis. I bought this a while ago. I just haven't had an ability to use it. I bought the torso and leg extenders for the Dominus class knight to make it bigger. So we will get to that last, most likely, but that will be a fun thing to do. But yeah, I've been looking into some resin kits every now and then to see what I can make look cool. All right, so this goes there. What, does that just plug on like that? Oh, it does. Oh, that's heckin' amazing. All right, cool. Simple glue. 1, 2. Squish it on there. Come on. Ah, there we go. Same with you. 1 and 2. Do. Oops. No, where'd you go? No! Oh, we got him. Boom. There we go. It wasn't cooperating. We fixed it. Oh, okay. So these now glue together. I'm assuming. Yes. Just like that. Beautiful. Alright. Light amount of glue. Don't need to get crazy with it. 1, 2. Buckle my shoe. Smash it together. Alright, that's it. Next guy. Alright, finish line, push, push, push. Make it great, make it lovely. And 3, 2, 1, press. Beautiful. little bit of glue on the outside, but that's all right. So this will connect right there. Oh, that's easiest fit of my life. Smack that in there. Boom. That clicks perfectly. And then same deal with the other. 1, 2, 3 little shots of glue. And this guy, boom. And with that, we have achieved square blue right here. Let's see if I can. There we go. Big old square blue. The upper chassis is retrofitted with his beautiful little exhaust stacks and his side radiators. Next up is going to be his face. All the little Mechanicus bits, little face shield, and then maybe a melt-a-gun, and that's going to be it. We'll probably make this guy into the Preceptor. We'll give him the little multi-laser to sit on his little shoulder-mounted section. But yeah. Oh boy. So, boom. That is the fruit of tonight's labors. We have a big boy skeleton all fitted up. Still a little bit to do. We got to get the face all settled with like all the little Mechanicus bits in the back, but this guy is going to look resplendent on my desk until I sit down next time and deal with that. Tonight was good to get back in the hobby. So if you're not used to it, well, me especially, if I'm not used to it, I can really lag behind and end up going far slower than I intended. But the overall size and workability of the Knight kits is really working to my advantage on these. So I feel amazing about all this, and I will be looking very much forward to the next time I sit down and work on these. So, regardless of whether that's a next hobby session, I think Mondays are a nice excuse to sit down and hobby for an hour and a half. Get people in here, talk about some fun stuff. I think that'll be something I can try to do in the future. Consistency is key when it comes to content and stuff. It's nice to try and hold myself to a standard. But the glue has been capped, the tip has been cleaned. For all of you who stopped by and spent some time with me tonight, we had 60 people through here, like, all throughout the night. So that is absolutely wonderful. Thank y'all for spending some time with me this evening. I really appreciate you coming through. Check out the channel. Craig, yeah, you too, my man. Be sure to stop by the channel. Keep an eye. I'm hoping to put some more content up there in the coming weeks. Until then, buy less, paint more, keep rolling those lucky ones, and I hope everyone has a beautiful, lovely evening. And I will see you all. I'll see you all when I see you in a video, in a stream, or in person. You all have a lovely evening. Bye-bye!